Welcome back, everybody. We are about to dive into our first adventure of the night, one which I have entitled Lower Education. But before we do so, as always, we are going to take a moment and introduce our brave heroes today. Or I guess brave, I don't want to put that on you. Maybe you're not brave. So, without further ado, first up, we have an adventurer who has not been around the land of DnDTime in a little bit, but I'm very excited to see him back tonight. We have Zarlog Ironword, a half-orc of passion, if I remember correctly.
Yes, it's very true. Everyone has a passion, and my passion is for everyone.
Your passion is for everyone. Could you elaborate? What do you mean exactly by that?
Well, I have a passion for all things in life, mainly adventure, and also I have a passion for love as well. I try to find it wherever it can be.
Well, I guess I was about to say I hope you have some success in that today, although it might not be the best adventure to find love, as you will be spending a lot of time working with children. But
sounds exciting!
Oh my.
But
to everyone here, I'm still a child.
I suppose that's also true. But Zarlog, you are also a musician, if I remember correctly, correct?
Yes, I am a master of the viol.
The viol. And what distinguishes the viol as an instrument from, say, the violin? What makes it different?
Well, one of the larger factors is the size. It is significantly larger, but it is also smaller than a cello.
Okay. Where does it stand? Is it comparable to like a viola, or is it the same as the viola?
It is very similar to the viol. It's very similar to the viola, but it is usually played similar to a cello.
Okay. So in the kind of like the upright position. Well, I look forward to hearing perhaps some of Zarlog's pieces today.
Many are being crafted.
Wonderful. Good to have you back, Zarlog. Next, we have returning another. We have all veterans here. We have Runefang. Runefang, how are you?
Oh, I'm good. It's been a hell of a 2 weeks.
Indeed. What have you been up to over these last couple of weeks?
Honing my sword skills and honing my sword.
Just a lot of training, then?
Oh, hell yeah. Training never stops.
Have you learned any new techniques?
Just last week I learned Accent Surge.
Oh, yes. How could I forget about the incredible ability? That seems almost something that's more that's more something that just kind of gets honed into your body rather than something you can train. The ability to take an extra action. That's just something that you as a fighter had to just kind of uncover, I feel.
I've been training using it.
Oh, well, yes, of course, you do have to practice with this new technique. And, of course, you're training so that you can better serve Bahamut, correct?
That is true.
Have you met any other sort of worshippers or followers of the Platinum Dragon amongst Bartholomew's adventurers yet?
No, I haven't.
I suppose the worship, the vast majority, actually, of sort of individuals among the adventurers at Bartholomew's shop worship things like clouds and clouds and conches and all of these sort of non-traditional gods. It's good to see someone such as yourself that sort of represents the more well-known gods, the more traditionally official gods, such as yourself, Runefang.
That is, me, I worship the clouds, they bring the rain, but that's nature.
Yes. A lot of people, I do know a lot of people kind of distinctly separate clouds from nature in that regard, but it's also interesting to hear that particular take on it. Regardless, Runefang, it's good to have you.
It's good to be back.
And next, we have, returning once more, Lillili. Wait, Lillili. I did one too many Lees the first time. Lillili, it's good to have you back.
Don't worry, everybody trips on that one.
That's a tough... Lillili, how often does it come up that people struggle with the name a little bit?
Oh, I don't even really pay attention to it anymore. It could be every time someone talks to me, but I don't know.
Well, I certainly mean no offense by the mistake. Sometimes the tongue just kind of, flops over itself a little bit. But Lillili, how are you?
I'm doing well, thanks for asking. How are you?
I'm doing very well as well. Tell me, what's new in Lillili's life? What do you have going on these days?
Well, I think I learned a couple new spells. Hopefully I'll get to try them out tonight.
Anything that you want to reveal, or is it all saving it for later? Is it all a surprise?
We'll see if it comes up.
Okay. So you've improved your skills naturally as a druid. Anything else that you've kind of discovered? I know you're always sort of collecting things and kind of picking up different, what some people might call refer to as junk, but what I certainly don't feel that way. I don't think you do either.
Well, you know what they say, one man's trash is just a treasure that they're looking at the wrong way.
I really like that interpretation on the expression. Lillili, it's good to have you back. And last but not least, we have returning once more, Isaac. Isaac, how are you?
Hello, I'm wonderful.
You finished. You knew what I was going to say. I was going to ask you how you were. Isaac, you of course. We have another faithful here. You of course, though, are a faithful of a god known as the Machina, correct?
Indeed.
How is your spreading of sort of the Machina's faith going throughout the land of DnDTime? How have you been doing at that?
It's been going quite well. I've been attempting to evangelize an orc tribe.
I do love the action form of the word evangelize. How's that been going? Have any of the orcs that you've been speaking to taken to the Machina?
A few gave me some dents.
Oh yes, I can clearly see the few kind of dings on the outer exterior of your body, because of course, for those unaware, you are or Warforged, or is that exactly correct? Are you something a little bit different from that?
I am a Warforged.
Okay, a Warforged indeed. And do you still have some of your blessings of the Machina, some of your oil?
Blessings of the Machina!
Well, blessings of the Machina to you as well, Isaac. Welcome back.
I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, sure. Happy to have you. So, without further ado, let us begin our adventure tonight, where the four of you find yourselves sent by Bartholomew is the city of Sohcahtoa. It is the Trigognomish capital in the land of DnDTime. For anyone unfamiliar with the Trigognomes, they are a race of gnomes, or pretty much all of the gnomes in the lands of DnDTime are Trigognomes that excel at mathematics. And
mathematics?
Indeed. And you probably feel a little bit at home as you're walking around the streets of the city of Sohcahtoa, Isaac, as you can see various sort of strange constructions. You actually see a couple of very rudimentary automatons, nothing that has as much life as you. Yes, but there are these kind of beings walking around in the city. You see gnomes going about crafting different things. They all seem very busy, and you're all kind of generally aware that the Trigognomes are responsible for the majority of the technology that exists around the land of DnDTime. And you're also aware that they are vehemently opposed and at war, in kind of a never-ending war, with the math goblins, a group of goblins that, well, they kind of harness the darker magics of the mathematics in order to cast, very powerful spells. Well, yes, while the Trigognomes use algebra to create things, the math goblins use algebra to cast terrible spells that multiply the size of things, or duplicate them, or
someone to death.
So it's geometry.
Geometry, yes. Well, only the most powerful of math goblins have ever unlocked geometry, and this brings us to where you begin. You find yourselves, your adventure beginning proper, in a trigonometric elementary school. You stand now before... Bartholomew didn't give you too many details. He just told you that you needed to go to this location and speak with one of the professors there, who's going to give you a few more details. You stand now before that that woman. You see, she's a teacher. She looks at you and, hello, I'm glad you are all able to be here.
Damn.
Yes, a good day. So, you've been I've been told you have not been informed of the particular issue that we've been running into.
Not.
Not a bit.
Nope.
Yes. Well, you see, we've had a run-in with some, pesky math goblins. It seems that they have infiltrated our school. They wish to... Infiltrated. They've used some of their dark magics to disguise themselves as gnomish students, and we believe that they are in my very classroom. You can see in the back of the room, you're in just sort of the teacher's office at the moment. There are a couple of other gnomes that are kind of standing in that space, conversing amongst each other. They look to be members of the guard, and they're kind of talking and trying to figure things out. And you've noticed that there was, as you were walking into this building, a surprising amount of security in the space. You see, if these goblins are able to learn some of the math that we teach our students here, well, they could use it to warp reality in terrible, terrible ways. We can't have them. Precisely. Oh, no, indeed. We can't have them learning any of that information. We need you to figure out which of our students has disguised themselves as a gnome and is actually a treacherous math goblin in disguise. And, once you've identified them, we'll also need you to arrest them.
We shall.
Is this fairly straightforward?
It is simple.
That sounds like a peaceful solution.
Very good. Very
Where's
good.
a wizard when you need them?
Yes, it seems we've used some of our scrying magic to try and identify the heat signatures of their bodies, and also, we've tried to just peer through the illusion, but whatever they're using seems to be fairly advanced. Surprised that they were able to use it. They might be getting help from someone. You never know what those crafty math goblins are up to. And
It sounds simply awful.
Yeah, there's definitely you're sensing a bit of just a lot of resentment for the math goblins from this individual, and also as she kind of says that, the other two Trigognomes in the corner of the room look up and kind of just give a general nod of consent at the idea of just a general kind of dislike of the math goblins. So why don't all of you put on these rings?
Ooh, rings.
Yeah, and she hands
Most
around.
kind of jewelry.
She hands around 4 rings, and as each of you put them on, or do you put them on?
I'm
I
going
shall.
to put on my bling.
Doesn't quite match my fur, but it'll work.
As you put them on, you don't actually notice anything, but everyone who does put them on sees that the other people that put them on now appear to you. You just kind of look like gnomish children.
Oh dear.
Oh, my beautiful visage.
Well, you can still see Zarlog. Your beautiful visage to you, you see your own kind of body and hands. It's just everyone else sees you as just kind of a tiny little gnome, just kind of a tiny little gnome child. The voices are also still the same.
I have been in school for 3 months.
I've never been in school.
So the teacher kind of looks at you. What I'll need you all to do is, why don't you kind of exit here now and come back in through the main way? I'm going to introduce all of you as new students. I just need you to pay very close attention throughout the course of today's lesson and see if you can figure out if anyone's acting strange. I am going to, at some point, I'll probably step out early so you can have a chance to talk to the children one-on-one and see if you can identify which one of them is the goblin.
Are there any hints you might be able to give us to help us out today?
She kind of thinks for a moment. The problem is the math goblins are not very good at math. The math that they do learn, they're able to do terrible things with it, but that's why they have stuck into what this class is remedial algebra. remedial algebra is the class that they're taking. So normally I would say the math goblin would be the one that's bad at math, but all of the students in this class aren't that great at it.
I'm terrible at math.
They are...
I am a computer.
Well, that would be... I guess that would be helpful if you were taking the class, but really, you're not taking the class. They are noticeably savage, is a word that I would use to describe them. They won't be kind. They're generally mean. What else about math goblins? They don't smell very good. She thinks for some time.
Oh, well, I can't really help with that one.
Runefang sniffs his armpit.
I can't smell anything.
Well,
I don't think it would be wise to start sniffing other children.
that's also very much not a good idea. You are very correct. Thank you for pointing that out, Zarlog. That was your name, correct, Zarlog?
Indeed.
Yes. What else? I suppose you'll just have to use your best instincts. Just look for maybe look for children that look in particularly mean would be a good way to go about it. And she says, all right then, why don't you go join the other children? They're probably coming in now. They usually will take off their backpacks and kind of put things in their cubby holes and then sit down, and then I'll be joining the class in a few moments.
Let's interact with the children.
When you say it like that, I'm actually starting to have some growing concerns. But try to say it next time in a way that is less... never mind. And she kind of, goes, and you see her starting to kind of like put some of her papers together.
Lillili kind of starts gently pushing everyone out the door. She's like, "Don't worry, we got this, sweetie."
All right, and as you're kind of walking out the door, one of the gnome kind of guards that was discussing things behind the teacher kind of walks out behind you and says, excuse me.
Hello.
It is, well, while Mrs. Crabtree there, she is, well, in charge of the class here, but it was the city of Sohcahtoa that has hired you for this particular adventure. And I will tell you, if you find any math goblins, we need you to take them out. You understand?
I understand completely.
Yep.
We have...
If this is what you wish, then this shall be done.
We have informed, of course, Mrs. Crabtree that they're going to be detained and returned, but a math goblin that has learned math of, well, algebra of any kind is far too much of a threat to be kept alive.
Maybe I can learn something. I've been terrible at math for months.
Well, I wish you the best of luck at that. It's certainly a great opportunity for you to get an education while you're here, but I just wanted to make that clear. And, of course, mum's the word.
Mum's the word.
Understood.
I'm sorry, looks to you, Lillili. What is it?
I was hoping for a peaceful solution to all this, and how do you even know their intentions are bad?
It's not about good or bad intentions. Maybe their intentions are good, although I find that rather unlikely. But I've seen what math goblins can do. You teach a math goblin how to use geometry, and all of a sudden he can turn people into giant spheres and sling them around. Imagine
Not
if one
geometry.
of them... Precisely. Imagine if one of them learned calculus. You'd be able to control the very fabric of space and time. The entire world would be at his whims. We can't let anyone ever get to that point. It's about the protection for the... well, it's about the protection of the greater good. So that's something we're going to need you to get done. If you're not able to do it, you can hand them over to us, and we'll handle it ourselves from there.
Blessings of the Machina upon you, good sir.
Yeah, good day to you, I suppose. Is that do I say something back? Is there a traditional response to Blessings of the Machina?
There is not.
All right, well, then I'll stick with good day, and good day to the rest of you as well, and keep that in mind.
Good day.
All right. He kind of walks off, and you are welcome to go over and kind of join the children. You can see there's now, six or so gnome children that are kind of walking over. There's like little cubby holes. This is a very kind of low grade. There are little cubby holes outside of the room. and they're all kind of like putting their shoes and little backpacks up. As you're kind of walking over, one of them kind of looks over at the group of you walking up and kind of waves and goes, "Hello."
Hello, fellow children.
Hi there.
Hello.
Hello.
I've never seen you guys before.
I've never seen me before either.
Yeah, we just got transferred to this class.
Oh, you guys are having trouble with math too?
Simply awful at it.
Yeah, I've been having trouble with math ever since I left my old school.
Oh, well, Miss Crabtree's a really good teacher. I think you'll do really well.
I think that too.
Well, that's sweet of you to say.
On you.
Well, thank you very much.
What's your name, sweetie?
Oh, my name is Galileo.
Lovely name.
That's
Thank
a good,
you.
strong name.
Thank you very much. And well, come on, I'll show you inside the classroom. And there's several other gnomish boys and girls that are kind of filing in at this point, and they're all kind of taking seats. And there are only, it looks like, 6 gnomes in this class, and now 10 with the 4 of you. Yeah, and they all look, relatively normal. There's nothing like immediately that sticks out to you about their appearances necessarily that would kind of tell them apart, but they all seem pretty, they all seem kind of cheery. A lot of them kind of smile and look at you, or, at least acknowledge you in some way. What do you all want to do as you have a couple minutes before the teacher arrives?
Oh, good sir, are you familiar with the Machina?
Which gnome? You want to talk to the one that you were just talking to, or just grab another random one?
The one we were talking to.
No, what's that? Is
The
that like
Machina is the greatest of the gods.
the gods? I don't know much about gods. My father's, well, I want to be a scientist someday, and my dad says I shouldn't, think about gods, because science is going to surpass the gods someday.
I disagree. The Machina is science.
Oh, well, then maybe my dad's wrong. I don't really know, I guess.
Well, the blessings of him upon you.
Okay.
There is no right or wrong when it comes to one's own beliefs.
That's really smart. Are you sure you're in remedial?
When it comes to math, yes.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Zarlog will wants to kind of stick to the back of the classroom, not really stick too close to people, but just kind of watch and look over the classroom.
Yeah, Lillili's gonna do that too. Just kind of observe, see if anything stands out.
Yeah, you two take desks in the kind of back section of the classroom. The desks are kind of arranged 3 by 4, so there's 4 desks that are kind of towards the back. You sit down. You can see the desks have a lot of scratchings and stuff on them. One of them just kind of you see "math sucks" kind of written on the desk that's been carved in by what looks like a pencil over a very long period of time.
Zarlog carves in thumbs up.
Excellent. You carve in just a quick little thumbs up icon next to it, and you sit at the back of the desk. Why don't both of you make me a perception check as you're just kind of taking in the space? All right. Yeah, you're looking over them. Like I said, their physical appearances aren't giving you too much. You notice that a lot of them are kind of whispering to each other, and they're kind of looking at the groups. They're looking really at the 4 of you guys a lot, because it seems like you're getting kind of the vibe that it's a little bit odd that 4 new people all of a sudden are all coming in at once, and they're they seem to be kind of talking amongst themselves a lot. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of you catch Lillili, you actually catch one kind of passed note happen between 2 of the kids that are sitting on the left side of the room.
She kind of nudges Zarlog and goes, "Those ones are passing notes. I wonder if they're talking about us or if they're sharing goblin secrets."
My bet is always on goblin secrets.
Should we intercept?
Possibly. We'll keep an eye on that. We'll just continue to watch.
I'm going to speak up.
You're going to what?
I'm going to speak up.
What do you wish to say?
Hello, fellow children. What are the local goings on?
They all kind of like turn and look at you, and like a couple of them kind of anxiously go, "Hello."
Hello.
He's just nervous about our new class.
Yes. One of them.
Indeed, I am quite nervous.
One of them kind of looks at you, Zarlog, the one that's nearest you. He goes, "Oh, I understand. On my first day of school, I almost peed my pants. I was so scared. It's pretty hard fitting in."
At least you stayed dry, my friend.
I did. I was actually pretty proud of that because at one time, well, I don't want to talk about my past. Let's drop that subject. I'm sorry.
It's
Completely
okay.
understandable.
Okay.
My first day of school, I was so scared I shed all my fur.
Wait, you have fur?
He's mutant.
It was a condition, but he's better now. Oh no, wait,
Yeah.
I'm not even there, am I? I'm at the back of the room.
Yeah, you're at the back of the room. He looks at you. Yeah, you're close enough. I'll say the desks are close enough together that you can pitch in that comment. And he goes, "Wait, so that sounds like it's probably a good thing, right?"
Runefang quickly takes off the ring and then puts it back on. Just to show him that.
What? He looks at you, kind of mind blown. You're a wabbit. You're a
Yes.
wabbit.
I'm going to look at him and give a thumbs down.
As you're doing this,
not so subtle giant.
as you have revealed this, a lot of the children are now very focused on you. Runefang. And at this point, the teacher kind of walks into the room and kind of begins to kind of speak up. "All right then, children. We are about to begin class. If all of you could take your seats. As you can see, I'm sure that you've already become acquainted to a degree, but we have 4 new students joining us today. If you could all stand, please, new children, and just say hello, wave, so that everyone knows who you are."
I shall stand and wave frantically.
Zarlog stands and waves, but his other hand is on his face.
Lillili just kind of shyly waves quickly and then sits down again.
Same with Rune.
All right, you guys kind of wave. Just, all right, let us take attendance. We're just going to go through the list. Ooh, more names than usual, of course, today. We have Ada, and you see kind of a young girl gnome raises her hand. Here. Albert. Here. Galileo. Here. Isaac. Do we have an Isaac here? And you also hear another gnomish boy kind of speak up. Here. Oh. At the same time as you. Oh, my name's also Isaac. Which one?
Both the Isaac.
Which one, Miss Crabtree? We have an Isaac in all caps.
I am Isaac in all caps.
Huh? How about that? Then I'm also here, Miss Crabtree. We have a Lillili.
Oh, hi, that's me.
Marie. Here. Runefang.
Here.
And Zarlog.
Here.
Very good, very good. Everyone's here. Allow us to begin today's lesson. Today we're going to be going over some very basic algebra. We'll be talking about variables. Is anyone here familiar with what a variable is? No one raises
I
their
know
hand.
what a variable is.
Do you raise your hand?
Yes.
Oh, very good. If you could please explain to the class what a variable is.
I explain what a variable is because I forgot it.
Fair enough. You explain what a variable is very very briefly. Go ahead and make me an intelligence check to show how well you crush this explanation. You do a very good job of it. And Miss Crabtree goes, "Oh, very, very good, Isaac. Yes, so basically what a variable is, as Isaac has explained, is a symbol that is used to represent something that is unfixed. So a number that can be changed and fluctuated based on what the other parts of the equation say. So in this equation, 1 plus x equals 2. Can anyone tell me what x is? No one raises their hand. Anyone? Isaac, you seem to have a very good handle on this at the moment. Did anyone who hasn't spoken up yet like to take a shot?
Runefang raises his hand.
Yes, Runefang.
1?
That is very correct. So in this case, x is equal to 1. So if we were trying to solve for x in this equation, we would say that x is equal to 1. And she does some brief kind of subtracts 1 from both sides and does that kind of basic algebra. And there's now just a x equals 1 that she does up on the little chalkboard at the front of the room. Very good, very good. And she kind of continues along with the lessons for some time. What is everyone kind of doing? How do you guys want to proceed as this lesson is ongoing?
I will move my hands. That's it.
Okay, fair enough. You're just kind of like doing fake taking notes.
Runefang is actually taking notes.
Okay, yeah, of course. Runefang is trying to learn some math while he's here.
Zarlog is mainly watching the 2 children that Lillili. Oh man, I already messed it up. Lillili is pointed out earlier.
Okay, cool. And Lillili?
She's continuing to peer around the room and see if there's anything suspicious.
All right. So I want both of you who are kind of doing some peering to make a perception check, another round of perception checks for me, and also Runefang. You see Galileo next to you, kind of raises his hand and looks up to Miss Crabtree and goes, "Miss Crabtree? Yes, what is it, Galileo? Did you know that Runefang is a rabbit?" And Miss Crabtree goes, "Excuse me, what did you just say?" "Runefang's a rabbit." And Crabtree, this is absolute nonsense, Galileo. I would expect more from you. You're usually such a bright young student and not prone to such practical jokes. I would come sit in the chair. And she kind of points over to the side of the room where there's like a chair that's kind of separated and against the wall, that's facing the wall. And Galileo goes, "But wait, it's for real. I saw him. He said he'd sit before he had for Runefang. Sure."
I think he's going to look horrified.
He looks to you, Runefang.
Runefang takes off the ring again. It's like, what? I'm actually here to learn.
Literally face palms.
Zarlog slams his head into the desk.
Such drama.
I shall move my hands.
All right. And at this point, Miss Crabtree kind of looks at you, Runefang, and just kind of gives you this look of like disbelief, and then goes, "What are you doing in this classroom? There should only be gnomish children here. We'll have to have you removed." And kind of walks over to you. "Come with me, small rabbit. There must have been some kind of mistake." Looks at you kind of flabbergasted.
He's using a ring of illusion to get out of class.
Runefang follows the teacher out.
Okay. Go ahead and make a performance check, Zarlog. or deception. I will let you pick.
Oh my god!
A 1 is a 1 either way. You go. He's
my
using
rolls.
He's going. You go. He's using a ring of illusion to get out of class, and you point. With a finger holding a ring of illusion, and one of the kids next to you kind of looks at you and goes, "Takes one to know one, huh?"
Lillili immediately sits on her hands so nobody can see them.
Okay.
I shall move my hands again.
All right. What when you say remove your hands, you're saying you're taking your hands off?
No, I'm moving my hands.
Oh, moving your hands. Okay, I thought you were saying remove your hands. Very well. Runefang is kind of brought out of the room, and so the teacher's a little bit distracted. But now this kid that's next to you, this was the girl that was identified before as Ada, looks at you and goes, "Hey, why don't you give me a turn with that ring of illusion so I can take a break from class, huh?"
His isn't a real one. Like, he's wearing it right now, but he's clearly not changing into a weird shape. He's, we got it in a candy wrapper.
The way that other guy's worked, when he took it off his finger, he started being illusioned.
Yeah, they're all a little bit different, though.
He's probably an actual illusionist.
Hey, Ada!
Yeah, what do you say to Ada? She looks kind of over at you.
Are you familiar with the Machina?
No, I'm not familiar with the Machina.
Ah! Well, would you mind if I inform you of the Machina's greatness?
Yeah, we can talk about that after I learn a little bit more about these fancy illusion rings that this character seems to have here.
But the Machina is most interesting.
Yeah, not as interesting as a get out of class ring.
Lillili shouts quickly. Lillili shouts quickly at Ada. What's 2 plus 3?
Ha!
I knew it.
And Ada's now looking very disheveled. Give me that ring! And she's gonna reach over and try and grab the ring off of your fingers, Zarlog.
Yeah, she's totally a goblin. I knew it.
Yeah. This is a goblin. Could I like?
Yeah. Oh no, they're gonna try and contest you.
Is this strength?
This is gonna be sleight of hand contested by your own either sleight of hand or your own sleight of hand or dexterity, which you whip your hand out of the way as quickly as you can, and the hand, like the small kind of gnome child's hand, kind of reaches out at you, and you are not even close. I mean, you of course being an adult are able to easily skirt around this child's attempt, and the child kind of looks at you.
It's very rude to grab.
Well, it's rude to have illusion rings in class too, huh?
Well, I mean, if you want to get out of class so bad, the teacher's not here right now. You could just leave.
Well, I can't leave, because my mom would be mad. But if I had an illusion ring, I could get out and it would be okay.
And what's your mom's name, sweetie?
Mary.
Why do you know her name? I don't even know my own mother's name.
Go ahead.
I don't know my mother's name either.
Go ahead and make me a persuasion check.
Which one of us?
With advantage, Zarlog. Because you're both in on this. Okay. And the goblin kind of looks at you. Never mind. I don't know my mom's name.
Sounds like a lying goblin to me.
What are you talking, goblin? And now, like, this individual is starting to look very, like, they're starting to get kind of very visibly nervous. And it wasn't hard to read when you heard the word goblin. There was kind of like a little bit of a start.
Did any of the other
just
kids
start calculating pi very loudly?
All right, you begin just running through Pi, and all of the other kind of kids in the room are just looking at you like they have no idea what you're talking about.
At this point, Zarlog is just going to take off his ring, revealing himself.
All right, you do so. Zarlog, you now stand tall, and all of the children in the class kind of look at you like, whoa!
I'm gonna grab the child.
Lillili also acts surprised.
Okay, you're gonna grab the child?
Yes.
All right, go ahead and make me an athletics check. Or, yeah, it's a grapple check, so. Ooh, the child is nimble, and the goblin child at this point kind of jumps out of the way, and it kind of yells out, "Ah! This guy's trying to grab me! This guy is an adult. He's using the illusion rings and he's grabbing people!" Yeah, they're fairly upset at this point, and while this has been happening, also a perception check of yours from a while ago, Lillili, that got kind of brushed over because there's a lot of stuff going on, but you noticed that the goblins, that note that you saw pass before, got passed around to like most of the kids in the room. They were all kind of like looking at it, and then kind of handing it on to the next one, avoiding you new people was the impression that you got. And at this point, out in the hall, Mrs. Crabtree looks at you, Runefang, and goes, "What are you doing? You're supposed to be undercover."
I asked Bartholomew a few months ago if he could help me with math, and he said he'd think about it, and then, well, this came up, so kill two birds with one stone.
I'm going to bring you back into the classroom, but I need you to start pursuing math in a gnome disguise, okay? Don't talk about being a rabbit folk.
Runefang puts the ring on one of his toes.
Perfect. That is a much better way for you to go about this. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right, we're going to go back in there now. Don't do that again. And she kind of walks back in. At this point, Zarlog, this is kind of right around when you would go and try and grab little Ada there. And she walks in. It looks like there was a mistake. The illusion was just an atmospheric. Oh my God! What is going on here? And looks over to you, Zarlog.
Goblin, and I point.
And she just kind of looks and goes, "Well, don't worry, children. This is all a procedure." And she just kind of points at the goblin, like, "Go get him."
I'm going to be screaming pie by now.
Lillili just kind of clears her throat and is like, "Yeah, you guys ever played Duck Duck Goose? This is like that, only it's no goblin."
Runefang just face palms.
The kids around you are now looking like very scared of whatever is going on in this room now.
I'm just gonna try to grab the kid again.
All right, the kid's kind of like, ducking and weaving. They're moving with a lot of agility. So go ahead and make me another athletics check to grab this kid.
Hallelujah to the dice
man.
gods.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you grab onto the kid, and the kid's just kind of, "Let me go! Let me go! Let me go!" And you hear one of the other kids on the other side of the room just go, "Let her go, damn it!" And the teacher kind of looks over and just goes, "Isaac, how could you?" And yeah, all the kids in the room are now just kind of very scared, and a lot of them are kind of looking to you, Zarlog, and the kids are all looking at you, and they look like they're about to turn on you. Like they're looking at you pretty angrily now that you've grabbed this kid.
While everyone is distracted, can Lillili kind of scooch off to the side and try to track down that note?
Yeah, go ahead and make me an investigation check to try and track down the net. Or I guess you know who was the last person to have it. So you kind of like duck over to the side of the room. You kind of like duck over to the side of the room and Jesus, go over to the last person you saw have it, and you think they must have thrown it away because it is nowhere to be seen on that kid's desk.
That's why.
Runefang, yeah, Isaac, there's like, you're kind of there like shouting about the Machina and trying to get pie, but everyone is really fixated on Zarlog right now, who has this goblin kid struggling, or a gnomish kid struggling in his hands. And Zarlog, what are you doing now that you've got the little person that you're sure is a goblin at this point in your hands? What are you doing?
This is really tough. So, the layout of the room, are all the children kind of like encircled around me?
The desks are arranged in like a 3x4, but the kids are all kind of like standing up. Miss Crabtree is at the other side of the room, like just kind of like arms up in the air, not sure what to do. No one is like surrounding you, but you are in kind of like the back corner. So they're mostly between you and like the door, if that's what you mean.
Does this classroom have windows?
Yes, there's a window immediately to your left, although you are on the second floor.
About how much damage would that be?
It's about 30 feet. It's 1d6 per 10 feet. Maybe not quite that far. Maybe closer to 10. Maybe closer to 20 feet. So more like 2d6.
I'll take those odds.
You're just gonna dive out the window?
Yes, adventure.
Right. You watch as Zarlog's kind of holding this kid and just runs and just the glass shatters as Zarlog crashes it through the window, and carries the gnomish child out with him. And as you are falling, the kid is just like, and like partway through, you watch as the transformation on their body just kind of fizzles. And it looks like whatever was holding it up got broken when they got really scared. And you crash down onto the ground. Are you trying to protect the person, or are you...
Not at all. They are a human shield.
Okay.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
In that case, as you strike down onto the ground in a 2-story pile driver, or I guess the second roll doesn't matter, you and this now very clearly a goblin, both suffer 7 points of damage, and the goblin falls unconscious.
And I am still kicking. Culprit apprehended.
And what is everyone else in the room doing at this point?
I am at this point screaming about pie.
Lillili is looking on in horror.
Runefang smashing his head against the wall.
Okay, Runefang, you're over kind of just smashing your head. Jesus. And the five kind of other classmates kind of run over and look out. And they're now just over like the shattered window, looking down at you, Zarlog, with like the goblin kid just down on the ground, unconscious.
I would just like to say that Zarlog would be holding them up by the scruff of their neck, just presenting
like a trophy.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, excellent. And they're all looking out at you, and you hear Galileo go, Wow, it looks like Ada was a goblin. Whoa! He goes.
While none of them are paying attention, Lillili is going to cast a spell.
All right, go for it.
She's going to cast Entangle, and she's going to get the vines to kind of cover the doorway and creep up and just suddenly cover the windows so no one can get in or out.
Okay, that happens. The thing that you've described has now happened, and all of the kids are now kind of looking around, like they're looking at the doorway, they're looking at the now cracked window, and you watch as one of the kids just kind of pops as they're looking in particularly nervous, and all of a sudden there's just another goblin in the space.
I'm going to get up and throw my desk at them.
Go ahead and roll for an initiative, I think, at this point, everybody.
Should I bother since I'm currently outside?
Oh, yeah, for sure. You'll have to run a little bit, but... Oh, wow.
Oh, what I told you that I forgot how to roll. Oh, wait, no, never mind.
Aston goes before me.
Wow, the first to act in this case are the gnome kids. The one that just kind of popped into a goblin goes, scatter! And just starts kind of like booking it over to across the other side of the room, sees the vines, and kind of turns back and looks to you, Lillili, and is just going to try and punch you. Which he definitely misses. The punch kind of flies at you, and it's just the punch of doesn't look like he's in particularly good with his fists, would rather have a weapon. And the other, you watch as all of the other gnome kids are all going to run up and also try and punch you, Lillili, as they're just going to swarm on you. Does a 12 hit?
No.
Does an 18 hit?
Yes.
You take 1 point of damage as one of them kind of like connects a little bit awkwardly on like your knee.
And is this one, as far as I know, actually a gnome child, or could it be a goblin, or is it are all the kids getting involved?
All the kids are now getting involved, and the one that they haven't all turned into goblins yet, but they're all acting in a very goblin-like way. As we move in initiative now to, Zarlog.
Zarlog will be booking it back to the room, tossing. If he sees the guards, he will be tossing the goblin to them.
There's a different guard that's kind of like standing out front of the kind of school doors, and you just toss the goblin on your way, and he kind of catches onto him and is now holding him kind of barely. They're about the same size, so it's not as easy for him. And you begin booking it back upstairs. All right, Runefang, what do you wish to do?
Runefang will stop banging his head against the wall and then walk over to the goblin child and clunk him on the head with the hilt of a short sword.
All right, go ahead and make an attack roll. 9 actually just misses.
Oh.
As you go to swing, they're small, but they're also fairly agile, and as you go to swing the short sword, one of them kind of like turns the head to the side and ducks out of the way. Anything else on your turn, Runefang?
Nope, that is everything.
That is going to then bring us to Lillili. What do you wish to do? A bunch of goblin kids or gnome children, it's tough to say at this point, are all swarming you and punching you with tiny fists.
And as far as we know, it's a spell that they're using to hide themselves?
Yeah, you're a little uncertain as to what magic is being used to hide them, but yeah, spell is probably your best bet.
Okay, well, I'm going to cast Detect Magic.
You detect you immediately detect illusory magic coming from all of you and all of them.
All of them?
All of the kids, yeah.
Even Galileo?
Even Galileo.
Oh man, I really like that kid.
Oh man. So she's just gonna yell, "All of you are goblins!" And she's gonna pull off her ring and just show them that she's an elf.
You hear them all kind of, as you say that, they all just kind of start, and all of their forms now become goblin forms, and they're just kind of like running around in a little bit of a panic at this point. Anything else on your turn? Or I guess that's all you would have time for.
Yeah.
That's going to then bring us to Isaac.
So, how large is this room?
It is about 30 feet, about a 30-foot square.
And how close am I to the crowd?
To the goblins?
Yes.
I mean, you're within the same room, so you could walk to any point that you want to be relative to them.
Am I within 15 feet?
Yeah.
I cast Burning Hands!
Oh god.
I love it! Fire!
Dexterity saving throws. Oh wow, pretty good. Roll damage on that. Okay, 2 goblins die as you set out a huge wave of fire in the classroom. Some of the desks. Miss Crabtree kind of goes out. There's 2 doors in the space. One of them was kind of closed. It was the one that she entered in, and she just runs away now as you set out a wave of fire, incinerating 2 goblins and burning the rest of them very badly as they were all huddled up right around Lillili. And the three that remain kind of look up at you. They're now all, all of their kind of gnomish visages drop, and they're now just straight up goblins, and they look up at you and go, "We give up! Please stop! You win!
Where's the machina?
As it gets to their turn, they just kind of throw themselves prone, and they just go, the boss has the kids. The kids are fine. We just want to get out of here alive. And this is happening right as you, Zarlog, are kind of entering back into the room in this space.
We get the children first, and then we decide your fate.
Room 332. Room 332 supply closet.
Zarlog's gonna grab one of them and start walking towards it.
All right. What are the rest of you doing? Are you all kind of following this path, or?
We stay with the kids and begin teaching them about the machina.
There are no kids. There are only 2 dead goblins and 3 very burned ones.
Lillili is
Runefang knocks them out.
Lillili wants to grab the closest one by the scruff and just be like, "We'll let you go if you promise never to come back here."
Done, 100% done.
Can I roll a religion to evangelize them?
Yes, absolutely. They kind of, he looks at you. Yeah, sure. As you bring up the machina. Yeah, I believe in the machina. He's my one true lord and savior.
Wonderful.
And holds up his hands and just, you're not sure how much you believe him necessarily, but at least in this moment, in this exact moment, he is a...
My flaw is that I blindly trust those who profess faith in my God.
Well, perfect.
I was worried you were going to say, "I will send you to him and end him."
I will give him the blessings of the machina.
Zarlog and Lillili, both of you kind of have the other 2 math goblins that are left kind of walking down to this 332 supply closet. Within it, you can kind of hear some light music.
Zarlog will cautiously open the door. He'll have a dagger out.
It appears to be locked.
Can I attempt to... I don't think I have lock-picking tools. Oh, maybe I do with all the scrap junk I have on me. Can I attempt to pick the lock?
Yeah, it's a super basic lock. Go ahead and make me a sleight of hand check.
Nope.
You break off a piece and kind of inside of the lock.
All right.
There's some laughter inside.
I knew I should have used something smaller than a broken butter knife.
All right, it's time to do it Zarlog's way. I wish to kick in the door.
Go ahead and make me a strength check.
No!
The door is just so confounding.
You kick the door. On the other side, you can just kind of hear what sounds like laughter. And that's it. You kick the door. It hurts your foot a lot. You're pretty sure it was just bad luck, and if you try again, you'll be able to open the door, probably, assuming you don't crit fail.
Zarlog, we'll try again.
All right, go ahead and roll. All right, yeah, you kick in the door this time, and you see within, right as you walk in, you see 6 gnome children all sitting around, kind of 5 of them are sitting. One of them is running and chasing around what looks like a goblin who's like laughing and dancing, wearing like pink wizard's robes, and you can see various like geometrical symbols on his robes. And he kind of like is on one foot giggling and turns and looks at the 2 of you as you're standing in the doorframe. Runefang, are you coming as well? And you, Isaac, did you decide to come along?
When Runefang hears
Is the
Zarlog
room
swear, he
opposite
runs
the
after
bar?
them.
Okay. Wait, Isaac, did you say you are coming?
Is the room they're in opposite to ours?
It's a little bit down the hall.
Can I run through the walls?
Can you hear them through the walls? Not quite from where you are, no.
Oh no, can I run through the walls?
Oh, no, I mean, they're like walls. Do you have an ability that lets you run through walls?
Can I use the goblin children as battering rams?
You can try, so we'll come
I
back to
shall
that.
make the attempt!
We can try that. Go ahead and make me a strength check, I guess.
Can I give him bardic inspiration?
I'll say you can have done that. Give him one before you left. Roll an extra 1d6. On top of that, Isaac. How do you inspire Isaac? Alright, so with a 21, somehow, you kind of run up to the wall, and you're just kind of basically running at the chalkboard, and you have this unconscious goblin in your hand, and as you hit the wall, I mean, you slam the goblin into the wall. You leave a little bit of a crack, but it is a wall that's like made of stone. You're in like a building.
I'd like to think that he got the inspiration when he saw Zarlog heroically jump out the window.
Yes, that was the exact moment that the inspiration happened. And now this kind of strange goblin that's dancing in the room, Lillili and Zarlog is just kind of looking at you. It's got like a little staff in its hand.
Yeah!
It's got its geometry symbols on its robes, and it just kind of looks up at you, and just like a deer in the headlights, it's just sort of staring at you now.
This is not the scene I expected.
It looks like he was playing Duck Duck Deuce with the kids to distract them, is the impression that you get.
Goblin. Or no, sorry, what they call it? Gnome goblins.
Yes.
Are you the one behind this?
No! He says.
I find that very hard to believe.
I don't believe you.
I think these words you say are lies.
They're not!
No, children, attack!
The gnome children just kind of look. You kind of walk out the door and make it down the hallway. The gnome children look up confused.
Can
They
I
don't.
use persuasion to persuade them to attack?
Well, the gnome children like go, and as you say that, they actually for a second look like they're going to attack, and then all of them just kind of call out, "But we love him." It seems like they're under some kind of strange spell.
The Machina loves you! And I will take the cork off of my bottle of olive oil, and I'll just spray it into the air.
Okay, you spray the blessings of the Machina into the room. We're back at initiative. We're just going to start from the top, because I think that's where we left off. Zarlog, what do you want to do?
At this point, I think the best course of action is just to take him out as well. So Zarlog would just like to... Well, how close is he to a child?
How close is he, like, distance-wise? Like, how...
Yeah, like, is he standing directly next to him?
Yeah, they're, like, all in this space. It's not that big of a space, and he's, like, all the children are kind of sitting in a circle, and he's standing next to that circle.
I'm going to cast Vicious Mockery.
All right. He's going to make a wisdom saving throw, correct?
I believe so.
All right.
Hold on.
I need you to make me a charisma saving throw. You succeed. Very good. And go ahead and... Oh, I rolled that. And he's going to fail his wisdom save. So go ahead and roll damage on that Vicious Mockery.
Yes, 2.
How do you insult this strange geomancer before you?
Geometry sucks!
Well, I don't know about that. He looks kind of downtrodden as he takes 2 points of psychic damage, and he kind of like stops dancing. Lillili, what do you want to do?
Lillili is going to... What is she gonna do? Bear with me for a second here. I didn't think this far ahead.
Let the sound of the inspirational music.
Yeah, do you want to do you have a bonus action still. Did you want to do an inspiration?
I'll go ahead and toss her an inspiration.
Alright, yeah, Lillili also have a bardic inspiration.
Rad, okay. So she is going to... I guess she'll just cast Entangle again on this goblin.
Alright, he's going to make a... what save?
It is a...
Strength saving throw.
Yes.
Is 13 enough?
Yep, just.
Okay. Yeah, he kind of like jumps and like, whoa, whoa, jumps and kind of barely manages to dodge out of the way. The various, the miscellaneous gnomish children are all like, whoa, and all get kind of tangled up. You see Galileo among the group, who looks to be it looks like they were pretty accurate Galileo. So he's there just kind of like, this is pretty scary! That's gonna bring us next to Runefang. What do you wish to do?
Once Runefang reaches the door, it's like, you think this is scary? My first adventure was taking down the trash mountain. And then he heads straight for
I don't have any context for that. He says, you're gonna make an attack roll against him?
Yep.
Alright, I need you to make me a charisma save.
Oh.
Charisma, as you kind of look at this individual, all of a sudden, like, you just get this image in your mind of just like a perfectly regular shape, which is extremely appealing, as he uses his power of geometry to pacify for your moment. You are charmed by this individual. You must spend your turn complimenting him.
Oh, those are nice robes. I might take them after we kill you.
Oh, thank you very much! And as he continues to dance around. That is... so the attack, unfortunately, is unable to go through. And it ends as soon as you get through to the end of your turn. That is going to then bring us to Isaac. What do you want to do?
So, the goblin I'm holding, is he on fire?
No, he's dead.
Ah. Well, I will lob him like a javelin at the goblin.
Go ahead and make me an improvised weapon attack.
I have no idea how to do that.
But first make me a charisma save. That is enough. So just go ahead and make me an attack with whatever weapon you have that uses strength, if you have. Excellent. 21. You toss a goblin. What's your strength modifier?
+3.
Alright, you hit him for 3 points of damage as it flies across the room. As you hit him, you see him just kind of go, oh, wait a moment! And a couple of numbers appear on his robe, and there's a 3, and a 2, and you see the 3 just kind of gets like disappears really quickly, and then there's a 2 that kind of pops up in front of him, and he goes, as the goblin kind of like hits into him, it seems like it has no impact, and he regains 2 hit points as he uses his reversal of fortune ability. That is all for your turn, I assume?
Actually, hang on. Does that reversal?
That's his reaction.
Sorry. Does that reversal of fortune last for the entire turn?
You don't know?
Can I use, can I roll Arcana?
Yeah, sure. You think it's probably a one-time use. You can do it to one damage source.
Very well.
Alright, that is going to bring us to his turn, where he's going to look to use Zarlog, and I need you to make me a wisdom save. And Zarlog, he just kind of looks at you and does this kind of funny face with his tongue, and all of a sudden, it's uncontrollably funny, and you fall over onto your side in a fit of uproarious laughter, as you've been affected by the spell Tasha's hideous laughter.
No! My one true weakness! Comedy!
And yeah, Zarlog looks out of commish. It's actually your turn, so you get to make another wisdom saving throw at the end of your turn, Zarlog.
Am I able to do anything while I'm affected?
Unfortunately, you are incapacitated, so no.
So just wisdom saving throw then.
Yep. Anytime you take damage, you can make the saving throw again. Which you succeed, so you get over this laughing fit, but now you're just kind of like on the ground, catching your breath at the end of your turn. Lillili.
Oh, she's tired of this nonsense. Normally she goes for peaceful solutions, but this is just getting ridiculous. That being said, she is going to just go, oh, darn it all, and she's just going to cast Poison Spray.
Oh, God. All right, it's going to make a, I believe a Constitution saving throw?
Let me double check that real quick.
Definitely fails, whatever it is. Doesn't matter which save.
Yeah.
Takes 10 points of poison damage.
Oy.
That would kill him, so he's going to use his Reversal of Fortune right now, and he reduces it to 0, and you see the kind of thing for the healing kind of roll up on his shirt as well, as the numbers are kind of running like a roulette in the air next to him, and he goes, whoa, 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 whoa! And the number rolled is a 4, but it looks like he's unable to heal any more than he's currently at. Anything else on your turn?
Let me see.
Oh, you should have rolled a charisma save, but I forgot to make you do it. So that's my bad.
Oh, okay.
Oh, but you don't have to do it now. It's already happened.
Oh, okay. Let me see if there's something I can do as a bonus. I don't believe there is, though.
Okay. While you think of that, what do you
Yeah,
wish to do,
it doesn't
Runefang?
look like there's anything I can do, so...
Okay.
Runefang's gonna try attacking again after he does his charisma saving throw.
All right. Yes, you succeed.
And
go
now
ahead.
he's going to try and slice the goblin's head off.
All right, go ahead and make an attack roll. 12 hits! Roll damage! Would you care to describe your killing blow on this guy?
Watching a lot of action movies, he jumps up, spins, and with his sword outstretched, lops the head off.
Alright, in a flurry of motion, you watch as the Bunnyfolk does like a leap off of the side of the supply closet and spins around and lobs the Geomancer's head off in a single strike, which kind of falls to the ground, and all the goblin and all the gnomish children look on a little bit horrified, but
If we